on Journey. I'm joined by the ever blunt and razor sharp Peter Aka, actor, activist, and unapologetic truth teller. We're diving headfirst into the fire, Buhari's death, and the legacy leaves behind, the ADC coalition and drama, and the mess or miracle that is Nigeria right now. If you're looking for safe takes, tune out. This conversation is anything but safe. Welcome to J on Air. All right, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. An absolute pleasure. Jay, this is you.
This is me. I've been looking forward to having a conversation with you, so I'm glad that you're here. So we need to address the elephant in the room, and that is the death of President Buhari. He was head of state from 1983 to 1985, and president from 2015 to 2023.
Yes.
Where were you when you got this news, and what was your emotion? How did you feel?
So when I got the news of President Buhari's death, the first thing that came to my mind is the fact that, the mere fact that the former president died in a private clinic in London tells you everything you need to know about the class and kind of leaders we have. For being president for 8 years, and you kept treating ear infections in London. And then again today, the Buhari, no matter how look at it, I'm not his family member, but what we know about him is what he did with power as a president. And that is what we are going to talk about. Buhari as a person or as a leader was the greatest calamity that befell Nigeria since maybe modern history. He was the mistake that should not have been made. And what we are suffering in Nigeria is the ghost of the Buhari administration. A leader who ruled without empathy for the living and did never honor the life of the dead. Death is not a canonization of evil men to becoming saints, or it's not a baptism that washes away original sin. Everything we spend our time doing as we live is what will be discussed, and the legacy. And the way Nigerians will mourn is their own way to grieve, and everybody should stick with the truth, because at the end of it all, we should know that when we are alive and we have the opportunity, then we should do what we want to be discussed when we die. If there is anything that culminates, I think, the Buhari legacy, it will be October 20th, 2020. Imagine if his only son, Yusuf, was amongst the innocent Nigerians who were seated at the toll gate, waving their country's flag and singing the national anthem, protesting police brutality. What was his response? Unleashing firearms at peaceful protesters, amongst many others. His own chief of army staff died in a plane crash in the line of duty. President Buhari did not leave the villa to go and pay his last respect at the military cemetery. The former president, who he toppled his government, Shagari, died in December of 2018, 28th of December. He was buried on the 29th. Buhari never went there. So there was this disdain and the ruling or leading of Nigeria like a monarch. 78 persons were buried in a mass burial in Benue State, killed within security under Buhari's administration. He did not raise a finger. So look, no matter how much you want to whitewash anything, it is important that people stick to the truth. And our current leaders should know that power is transient, and even the worst of tyrants still have an end. So we must do with power what it is needed for the good of people.
So you're saying that Nigerians should not forget why people mourn, because again, the federal government has come out to say tomorrow is a public holiday, Tuesday, public holiday. What do you say to that? Do you think that is the right thing to do?
Well, I think that politicians will do what they need to do. The government will do what they need to do. And by the way, Buhari and Tinubu are each other's legacies. They inherit themselves and complement themselves in failure. So whatever it is that they do, one of the greatest mischief of the Buhari presidency was the fact that a man who was the beneficiary of a seemingly free and fair election that was conducted by the former president Jonathan could not at least bequeath the legacy of free and fair elections to Nigeria. And that is why we are where we are today. So whatever the political class are doing, it is up to them. Let every Nigerian mourn the same way that they want. I mean, a lot of lives were lost under the Buhari presidency. So we have thoughts and prayers that are shared across Plateau, Benue, and every other state. So Buhari is just one person too that has died like every other person. So every other one who is in power now should also learn the lesson, including myself who is speaking, because we will all leave at some point.
All right, let's take this phone call. Welcome to J on Air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Diva. I'm calling from Lekki.
All right, we're talking about the passing of late President Muhammadu Buhari. What would you say his legacy was or is?
To show you how bad it is a legacy that I've forgotten. To show you, because I don't care about it. What your guest is saying there is the truth. I don't care about it. When I even saw the news, I was like, oh, okay, somebody is dead. And I moved on. I didn't wait to find out details. I didn't wait because you know how, like he said, you cannot compel South Africans to mourn over Nelson Mandela. I mourned over Nelson Mandela. I'm not a South African. I'm a Nigerian because I know the value of good leadership. But I knew when I was way younger when he was head of state the first time, and then now I'm sorry, there's nothing to discuss about. Yes, the only good thing that came out of this is that we have public holiday tomorrow. That's the only good thing. The rest, there's no legacy to remember. Please,
All right.
let's forget it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much for calling. We have to move on from that and go straight into the ADC coalition. This is what has been the talk of the town. The ADC coalition. We have David Mack, as the acting chairman. We have former governor of Osun State, Raphael Gbeshola, as the secretary. We have, key leader Atiku is there, Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi. When you heard about this coalition, did you feel like this is a step in the right direction?
Jay, I just want us to be honest and realistic, because Nigerians, we have been through too much of bad governance, and we have been here before. What is the reason why we believe that we need a coalition to unseat an incumbent? It is because everyone knows that INEC is the weapon formed against Nigeria. People do not have trust or faith in the electoral process to be free and fair. So for you to take out a sitting government, they must be coming together of all opposition. If not, if you split the votes, you automatically give a second term to whomever that is incumbent. We had it in 2014. It bettered the Buhari government, and this is where we are today. So I am skeptical about coalitions that are interested in power for the sake of power. People should not take power that is meaningless, that you use to enrich yourself for self-gratification or financial aggrandizement. We must get a system where Nigerians can elect their leaders in a free and fair manner, so that when the person gets into power, he is beholden to Nigerians and not a coalition that brought them there. But as it is today, because we have failed to fix INEC and elections are closed, the coalition is important. It is good that we come together, but it must be power that is going to tackle insecurity, hunger, inflation, youth unemployment, and. So as good as imagine from the coalition, and you are trying to fight a cabal or the corruption in the oil sector, and then you look at persons among the coalition who will be probably beneficiaries of whatever that is going on in that oil sector. So as good as the coalition will seem for us to liberate Nigeria by 2027, it is important that we fix our electoral process, and that is what I have been heavy on and calling on even the actors who are there. Shena so una come trust INEC. Let's fix our elections.
People are saying, is this coalition a real threat to the incumbent? Because let's be honest, one of the most powerful presidents in history is the present president that we have. A lot of people that that have gotten into office, owe him a lot of gratitude. If you think about, when President Buhari became president, President Tinubu was instrumental in making that happen. Yes, there's a coalition. Yes, Nigerians needed change, but we know that he has a very strong hand when it comes to politics here in Nigeria. So the question of people are asking is, number one, do we think that this coalition is strong enough to unseat an incumbent?
Jay, should I be honest with you? The Tinubu political clout or capacity is exaggerated. Yes. President Tinubu is not as. In fact, the confidence and arrogance of that political class and dynasty is a corrupt and criminal electoral process. President Tinubu stays in Ikoyi in Bodilon under Etiosa. In 2023, he did not vote in Ikoyi. He registered in Alausa, Ikeja. Peter Obi won Ikeja and Etiosa. That was home and away. He won Lagos. President Tinubu is the first person who won presidency by losing all the major states. He lost Kano, lost Abuja, lost his home state of Lagos, and then reverse whatever happened with the shenanigans with the FCT minister there. So look, if we fix elections, and that is why today, no matter what, if you take away criminality and thuggery, people were flogged out of polling units in Lagos during the elections. Allow free and fair election and let us taste popularity. If you take away the touts and arrogance and criminality, all the Yashine do talk and all of that, take away the Agberus, let us see who truly is Godfather and how influential. Influence is popularity. You should be able to be confident that people love you enough for them to vote for you without coercion, without bullying, or without any form of violence. So look, the ADC as it is, if they put their acts together, and if they were not that serious, the ruling party will not be as jittery as they are. All the statements difference you are seeing is because even the ruling party does not know how 2027 will play out. But guess what? 2027 is even beyond APC and ADC. The real opposition in 2027 and the more than 200 million Nigerians who are victims of reckless and irresponsible leadership. The persons who are in hunger, multi-dimensional poverty, victims of insecurity. That is the people's opposition. So Nigerians must wake up and rise above political figures as opposition and know that you and I, if Obi does not become president, what does he have to lose? If Atiku does not become president, he's a former vice president, one of the wealthiest persons in the country. So the real victims of what we are talking about are you and I, the average Nigerians.
All right, let's go back to, those that are members there. We have David Mark. People are asking, this is a former Senate president. What did he do when he was there? We're talking about Raphael Beshola. Let's not forget that he was part of the former administration.
Of course.
We have key figures. The legacy of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is not necessarily a clean one.
I mean,
these are conversations. Rotimi Amechi. These are people that have been there. El-Rufai. These are people that have been there, and Nigerians have come against. In fact, you've seen people say we love Peter Obi, but if he's going to be part of this coalition, we are not interested. So what do you say? Should people just turn a blind eye to the legacy that these men already have and just hope for the best, that these men will come together and be the messiahs that we seek?
Look, Jay, as you know, uneasy as it may seem, talking about the coalition, Nigerians must realize that everything politics is political. You will build bridges where it is necessary. You will reach consensus. You will disagree but not be disagreeable. One of the good things about a person like Peter Obi is that he has been consistent with his politics. He has always seen political parties as a vehicle to public office for public good. He has maintained it as governor. He has even said that I am desperate to see Nigeria work. Because if you decide to discountenance the ADC or the coalition, I want you to put the flip side as against what? Then maybe you are comfortable with what you have and let us live with it till 2031. What we have today is an existential threat to our corporate and national existence and territorial integrity. APC is not a failed government. It is a threat to Nigeria. What is going on today is corruption on steroids. So as whatever it is that is there, we must scrutinize the figures. The persons who will put themselves out for the primaries in the coalition, let us test their characters, competence, and their whatever it is that are the antecedents, and then we begin to talk about leadership. But I believe that we have competent persons who are able to hold down this country and lead us to be a bridge between the old and the new.
Okay, we're still talking about the ADC, and we don't know for a fact what is going to happen. We don't know if Peter Obi is going to be put forward to be the president, for presidential candidate, or if Atiku is going to be put forward, But there are some people that are there that people are really afraid of. Former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai is one that a lot of people are saying, a lot of people that have been part of the obedient movement have been saying that, if this man doesn't leave this coalition, they cannot trust what this coalition is going to bring. He has been a particular figure that has been quite polarizing. People have issues with a lot of them, but him in particular, people really have issues with. Do you think their worries are valid?
Yes, their worries are valid. I mean, El-Rufai was the 8-year governor of Kaduna State, and he has a record. He has been minister for FCT. He was a significant part of the APC. He was in the PDP, and a lot of controversies, a lot that happened in Kaduna that a lot of Nigerians will not just be willing to just forgo or, close an eye to, because he has now become a part of the coalition. But I think we must have a bigger vision and picture. The question before Nigerians today is, are we headed in the right direction? Do we want to allow this reign of terror to continue for another term? Do you think that Nigeria will survive as a democracy with the level of corruption and criminality? Jay, the only sectors that are doing well in Nigeria today is crime and criminality. Every other sector is in trouble. That is why you can see people, an ICC that was built 30 years ago for 28 million is renovated for 39 billion and renamed after who renovated and not who built. There is a desperation for self-gratification and financial aggrandizement. There are no consequences. People are playing God when Nigerians are languishing in impoverishment, extreme and multi-dimensional poverty. So when you put the economic indices of the country on a scale now, you know that we need to rescue ourselves. And if you agree that Nigerians must save themselves, Nigerians are suffering now. A lot is going on now. That is why when you talk about President Buhari dying, Nigeria, we are in an unfortunate situation where we spent money maintaining the life of a president when he was alive. And even in death, taxpayer money will still be used to repatriate the body back to Nigeria because everything will be at the expense of the Nigerian state. Meanwhile, people are dying for malaria in Nigeria. People are dying for smaller sicknesses or illnesses than what killed President Buhari. Yet he could not build one hospital. So Nigerians are in a dilemma. We must find a way to rescue ourselves. So we must pay attention. The coalition should know what to do. They must read the room and know whatever that is going on, the sentiment.
So what do you think can happen for also free and fair elections? I mean, I'm looking at your shirts right now, hashtag electoral reform, hashtag fix INEC now.
Yeah.
I see that is what you've really been passionate about. You've met some key figures. Yeah. And while others are preaching candidacy, you are preaching we need to fix INEC. We need to fix electoral. Why do you think that is necessary and how can that happen?
Nigeria has been living in self-deceit. If we call ourselves a democracy, the hallmark of every democracy are free, fair, and credible elections. Do you know why? Because elections are the first line of accountability. The problem with Nigeria is that there are no consequences. There is no leader who knows that the people have the power to vote me in and vote me out who will refuse to perform. Look at Donald Trump. He came into office barely 6 months ago. He has shaped his foreign policy agenda, passed his big, beautiful bill. You may not agree with all of his policies, but he's delivering on his own promises. Why? Because the US does not even give you 4 years. By 2 years, I think in 2026, they will have what they call midterm elections. Yes. Either the House or the Senate might flip, and it will make things difficult for the president. So it is the system that instills discipline on the leaders. In Nigeria, it is uhuru for every politician. It is democratization of disenfranchisement, politics without the people. Whether you vote or not, they will come back. And you know the risk. If you are complaining about hunger, insecurity, inflation, the people who are responsible for this are getting set to come back. If you fail to hold them accountable and meet them at the ballot box, you will have another 4 years to lament. So what we are doing is just renewing subscription for Shaggy.
Okay. Let's take this phone call. We'll come back to this conversation. Let's hear from this person right now. Welcome to the show. Welcome to
Hello.
The show. Hello, welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Emmanuel from Mowe.
All right, Emmanuel from Mowe. John here. Peter Aka is in the studio. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to talk about this poverty rate in Nigeria. I don't think it can allow Nigerians at this moment. I don't think. I think it will be hard for Nigerians to elect any candidate free and fairly, because especially in this Nigeria, in this our area, there is a particular. I can't remember. I can't recall, but all these are women. I heard that one of them, they were called that they should bring their voters card. They are going to collect 30,000, and all of them went there. They snapped their voters card, and at the end of the day, they didn't give them anything. So, with this point, I think it's, and at the end of the day, they will be, after snapping their voters card, I know they're going to be used somewhere else, or So I think it will be a hard thing to do to elect or to
elect
vote
anyone
in,
because of the poverty rate.
But I think the first problem to be solved is the poverty part. Thank you.
All right. So what do you say to that? He's saying that because of the level of poverty, I mean, I've forgotten what the statistics are, but a particular statistic said that Nigeria, we are living in multi-dimensional poverty,
extreme and multi-dimensional.
Exactly. So a country of people that cannot get food to eat, cannot get water to eat, don't have electricity, don't have anything, that don't have good healthcare, education. They are looking for the next meal. And so a lot of politicians write on that and provide you the next meal and say, vote for me. So do you think we can have proper elections when we are living in abject poverty?
Do you know that poverty and disenfranchisement is a plan? It is deliberate. The more you impoverish people, the average Nigerian today is dealing with so much that they do not want to even invest time into something they believe cannot work, which are free and fair elections. But the flip side of the question I will ask you is that, what is your other option? The keeping quiet or detaching yourself from the process does not insulate you from still being a victim of that same process. You can still become a victim of the government you chose to ignore or decide to pay attention to. So we must summon the courage to fixing it. And Nigerians know what to do. We only need the courage for us to rise up together, demand and fix that process. Because you see this issue of poverty and the rest of it, Jay, it will not change. What is the cause of poverty in Nigeria? A bad economy. Why is our economy bad? We do not produce. We are a non-productive nation. What exactly is going on? Corruption. 60% of the country's budget is outrightly stolen. Brazen criminality. What is going on in government is thieves. People stealing. And there are no consequences. Look at insecurity. It cannot end because the more money you pour into it, it has become an investment. The National Security Advisor said in Plateau that the weapons that are used to kill people in Plateau, Benue State, are weapons that were stolen from government armory. Criminals are stealing weapons from government, using to kill citizens, and government cannot protect them. So there will be no better time because the tragedy about Nigeria is that there is no worst case scenario. Because things are this bad does not mean it will not get worse. So if you say you want to solve poverty, you wait for 2027 for them to rig themselves back into power, you have 4 years of more disenfranchisement.
But the argument people have there is that we go back to 2020 and we see that people actually came out in numbers and people lost their lives. And we had a government that is still till today denying that people died. So people are saying, why would I lay down my life for a country that doesn't care for me? All I need to do is take care of myself or my family or find a way to jackpot and leave the situation here. That is an argument that people have, that what you're saying is good, is fine. But when it comes to the reality of it, people have died and the country is still where it is.
Jay, if you jackpot, how many of your family members are you going to take with you? Between now and the time that you will get papers and everything to jackpot, do you know that a stray bullet can still hit anybody? Do you remember a doctor, a lady who collected her jackpot papers and everything visa? She was traveling on a train from Kaduna to Abuja to board the flight to leave the country. You remember when herdsmen or militia Boko Haram attacked that train in Abuja and then killed? You remember she died? I think her name is Dr. Chinelo. Nigeria can happen to you at any point. The truth of the matter is that we must find the courage. A lot of things happen during NSAS, and I want to ask, if we fail to continue to push to achieve that kind of society we talk about, what then are we leaving as the legacy for those who laid down their lives? People died. And that is why we must find the courage. We must occupy National Assembly in a peaceful protest. That is where Nigeria's problem is. We don't have any business with the toll gate. A protest that will change Nigeria. Identify one foundational problem. Identify the institution that is responsible to solving it. Go and shut it down. What will change Nigeria is an electoral revolution that will shut down the National Assembly and the presidency. They will get the message.
All right, let's take this reaction here. Ajiboy from Ebute Meta here says, hello, Gianna, our guest in the studio. Good evening. Please help me ask, does he actually trust any of these politicians we have up front now for running for presidency to do what we really need in this country? If he has one, what gives him the confidence that this person can do us better? Because as for me, I don't trust any of them right now. I prefer a young candidate with, good qualities. But arguments again come that, the young people actually bring, that honesty and integrity that we seek. Because all of us remember Honorable Dimeji
Bankole, the youngest speaker.
People were excited for when he came in. We all saw what happened when he was speaker, and now that is a political career that has just died.
Somehow fizzled out.
We've had a lot of young people that have come into office that have also messed up. People have argued women should come in. We've had women. We have the Desiani Madukates of this world that have also come into the office and have done crazy, egregious things. So the question is, who can we trust? Young, old, woman, male, female? What can happen here?
There's Jay. There is even Yahaya Bello, because Dimeji Bankole is very far. Some Gen Z may not know him. Yahaya Bello was one of the youngest governors in Nigeria.
Yes.
And it turned out to be Yahaya Bello that you know.
Yeah.
Jay, it is not about young, old, woman, man. Jay, build a system of accountability. Build a system where there are consequences. America has an almost 80-year-old president today. It does not matter. A young person can be a thief. A thief can grow old. If you are a thief at 40, you can be a thief at 70 and 80. It will not change. The reason is because you can steal and nothing will happen. If you build a system where there are checks and balances and consequences, everybody knows that whatever you do, the system will expose you. That is the difference between we and... There is no country where there is no corruption. There is corruption even in Rome, Vatican, where the Pope is the head. Even in Saudi Arabia, where people go to stone the devil in the Mount of Arafat. There is corruption in Mecca, in Medina. The difference is that people plug the loopholes to corruption and build a system where you cannot steal the kind of money Nigerian politicians steal. And then in China, you will be hung. In America, you know that Any money that is appropriated by Congress must be used judiciously. In Nigeria, you steal money, go to church or mosques, donate, build project. They go say na testimony. God has answered. Meanwhile, it is proceeds of stealing and criminality. There are no consequences. It must start by building an electoral process, strengthen your judiciary, your law enforcement. Let there be consequences for wrongdoing, and let there be what do they call them? Reward for good behavior.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so let's quickly say this, because we have to wrap up. A new president is sworn into office. First 100 days, what are the most important things that president must attend to?
The most important thing in the constitution is that the security and welfare of the people will be the primary responsibility of government. J, it is people who are alive who use coastal highway. It is people who are alive who use ICC. We must restore peace to Nigeria. The incessant letting of innocent blood cannot continue. People's families, people's loved ones, whatever that is causing this senseless killings must be traced and put to an end and nipped on the bud. Then we can begin development, national unity and cohesion.
So security first.
Security first.
Are you ever scared of getting blacklisted? I mean, you're somebody that is an actor. You're somebody that has made people also laugh on social media. And we know that this is another side of you.
Yeah.
But another thing is that we've seen people that have come to fight for Nigeria.
Yeah.
In 2020, we had this DJ,
Switch.
Yes, DJ Switch.
Yeah.
She also released a statement recently.
Yeah.
After, she was excited and said she's not going to feel bad about President Buhari's death. People came for her, but she's saying that she had to change her entire life, had to go out of the country because of what she faced. Are you ever worried that that's going to happen to you?
I believe that God is able to protect life. And I know that once you stand for what is true, unless what I'm doing is out of mischief, I have a career that I can pursue. I have other options that I can face. But I believe that when we are in a place, God brings us here for a purpose. And the God that has put the mandate in you for you to be able to do what he sent you to do has the capacity to keep you safe. Because at the end of it all, Jay, is it about the years that a person lives? I will live to a good old age. But it doesn't matter. It is about the impact that you make. There are persons who died at 40 and their names still ring the bell. There are persons who die at 80. Buhari just died and you can hear all of that. Humanity must be better because we were here. That is the creed that I live. An old Methodist creed that you do all the good you can to all the people you can, anywhere you can for as long as you can. It may not be enough, but the world will know you did your best. So I know that this that I am doing has its own risk. But like every other person, every other thing, there are risks to it. And we believe that God is able to protect life. Nobody can be God and take life that you did not give me.
All right. Thank you so much. That's the perfect place to wrap up this conversation. Peter Aka, human rights activist and advocate. Thank you so much for the work that you do.
Jay, congratulations on your award. How could I live without? How are you feeling? How did that feel? Jay.
I mean, I was nominated 3 times in a row. So definitely excited. Thank you so much, for that. Jay. I appreciate you. Oh, my word is here.
Your word is here. So, how are we supposed to celebrate this, Jay, on air?
Who brought this here?
No. Jay, it is very remarkable. Looking at the list of persons that you were nominated with, and with all that you do, you are just an incredibly talented person. You don't know for how long I watch and I follow you and how much joy that you give me. Tomorrow you are this, tomorrow you are one boss in the office, next tomorrow you are one mother. Jay of many parts. Congratulations and keep being who you are. We love you.
Much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I mean, I did not expect that. So, people on my team, shout out to you. Thank you so much.
Now, my word too. Congratulate me.
Okay, we're going to wrap up with Jay's take. Jay's take here, what I'm going to say is that for me, this entire conversation has been about courage. Yes, we've seen people that have lost their lives, fighting for the cause that is Nigeria. We've seen people that are dying of poverty, bad healthcare system, bad education. But the question is, are we going to give up on Nigeria? How many of us can jackpot? How many of us can leave the country? You have family, you have friends that are here. So the question is, what are you going to do? You have to put on courage. I know you're saying, Jay, it's easier said than done, but what can we do? We have to put on courage, and 2027 is when we have to do it, when we come out en masse to vote. But before 2027, we have to call out on social media. We have to have peaceful protests. We have to join our voices. It is not one person's job. It is all of our jobs. We have Jay on Air Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 6 p.m. right here on 88.5 UFM. And of course, it goes live on YouTube the day after on Jay on Air TV. I'll be back here on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Until then, make sure you keep thinking about Nigeria and not just praying, but also doing what you need to do to get Nigeria to the next level.